Alright, what's up everyone? It's Mike, and it's a bright, sunny, gorgeous Sunday, and in October nonetheless. So I thought it'd be cool to take a little session out into the woods, take some gear, and do a little jam session, and show you some rhythms and music I'm working on. And I'm also going to hook you up with some backing tracks to jam to. So I live right near a really awesome park, so let's go take a hike and set up shop and do some jamming. Okay, so I'm pretty much all set up. This is the spot I like to jam, and as you can see here, I got my computer, my guitar, my interface, my camera, completely on location, so I'm loving the digital life. I kind of look like Neo plugged into the Matrix over here. Kind of dorky, but whatever, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to get my guitar on, and we'll jam out for a bit, and I'll show you some of the cool rhythms that I'm working on. Alright, what's up? This is Mike Deary, and we're all set up. I'm hanging out in a park by my house. It's an absolutely beautiful day, so I thought I'd come out here and do something different, and yeah, jam for you guys. So I got a song that I'm working on. I've been coming up with a lot of cool rhythms. So what I'm going to do today is run you through 3 different rhythms that I've been putting together, and I'm going to make backing tracks for you guys to jam on top of, because these rhythms are really great for soloing and practicing leads on top of. And when I write songs, I usually like to try to work on the rhythms first, because that really helps me kind of sculpt out the solos and the leads. So I got my computer set up, got the camera going, got backing tracks. So we're going to jam to you, and I'm going to show you and walk you through all the rhythms. So there's 3 different rhythms. So here is the first one. And you don't need to worry about all the fancy rhythm stuff I'm doing. I'm going to walk you through the riff in a second. But here's the drum track, so here's the first rhythm. Alright, cool. So it's a really funky groove. It's great to jam on top of. And this, first of all, everything I'm doing is in B minor. So that's the key you're going to want to jam in. And this chord progression is going from B minor 7 to E7. Okay? So a B minor 7 chord, basically you put your middle finger on the big string and your ring finger lays flat on the D, G, and B strings. And then it just goes to E7. And this is what you call a 2-5 progression. It's a very common chord progression, or jazz chord progression, to jam on. But if you're using a pick, just simply something like that groove there. And then it goes, it does that 3 times, and then the 4th time, it's going to go to a G major chord, and then to an A major chord. So that's the groove. It's about, I think it's 8 bars long, or it should be 8 bars long. And that's one of the main grooves that I have that I could write some melody over, solo, or whatever. And again, I do all the fancy stuff with the rhythm with my right hand to spice it up. So one more time, let me jam to the drum track for you, and then we'll move on to the second rhythm. Alright, cool. So let's check out the second rhythm now. Alright, so the second rhythm is definitely pretty sweet. It's a little bit different form than most riffs I've kind of usually written, but here's the groove, and I'll play it, walk you through it, and again, remember, I'm going to give you jam tracks to all of these, so I'm just going to make these loop for like 5 minutes, so you could just jam on them and see what you come up with. But here's the second rhythm. Okay, cool. So this one's really cool. Again, I do all the fancy stuff with my right hand, but if I use a pick, I'll simplify this. So we're just starting off with a B octave shape, okay, and I'm going, there's a lot of rhythm percussive stuff in this to really fill out things, but basically if you just start on a B octave shape, that's the first part, and then we're going to go from a B minor, A major, back to B minor. Okay, and the shape I'm doing is just kind of a simplified version. If I were to do bar chords, B minor, A major to B minor again. Or, alright, I like this shape because it's a little bit thinner and helps leave room for the bassy stuff later. So right after that riff, you're going to go into the G major to the A major. So, alright, and then to end the riff off, what I'm going to do is go to an octave shape and play B and then move it up to D. Okay, so again, if you just get this groove going with octaves, and then it's going to take it B and move it up to D. So the whole groove one more time is this. So it's really cool. I'm having fun with it, and I'm going to start soloing on it soon. But again, let me play this to the backing track one more time, and then I'll loop it up for you guys so you could jam on this too. Okay, cool, awesome. So that is the second rhythm I got there, and let's move on and I'll show you the third and final rhythm. That's kind of another variation of this that we'll put together to hopefully get a nice song out of. Alright, so here's our third rhythm. It's kind of a variation on the last one, and this one's a little bit more structured and even. The second groove there is kind of has the riffs just tacked onto each other, but I like it because I think it's going to leave some room to do some cool stuff. But here's the third rhythm. Again, we're taking what we did in the last one and making it a little bit more structured. Okay, cool. So as you can see, it's got a lot of the same elements in it. We're starting off with the octave shape, and then going to the B minor, A major, B minor. But then we go back to the first riff, and then it goes to the G to the A. So it's taking the same idea as the last one, but just repeating, going back to the main riff or melody rhythm. Then you're going to go back to the riff, and then the B minor, A, B, and then it's going to go to the octave shapes, but we're going to go B, C sharp, and then to D. So that last part, okay, so let me do this with a pick for you too so you can hear the whole groove. Okay, that's the whole thing. I'll play it a little bit slower here so you can really hear what's going on. Okay, that's our whole groove. So let me jam to it with the drum beat for a second so you could really hear the kind of energy of it, because these grooves are very percussive and fast, and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun soloing on them, and it's important when you're jamming to them to hear the full energy that's there. So here's that same groove with the drum beat. All right, awesome. So those are the 3 different rhythms. Again, I'm going to put those together for backing tracks for you. So now let me switch to going to jam on top of these and doing some soloing and lead playing ideas so you can get an idea of what I'm doing and some cool things, but definitely take these backing tracks and you're going to want to jam to them yourself. So let's check out some soloing ideas now. All right, cool. So I queued up the first rhythm with a backing track here and got my lead tone all set up with some cool delays and all that. I bet that looks a little freaky being out here in the woods with all this digital electronic stuff, but hey, it's cool. All right, so I'm going to jam. I do have a couple melody ideas that I put together already that I like a lot, and I'll walk you through those licks, but I'm just going to jam for a minute or 2 here, see what comes out, and then show you some of the really cool licks that I am doing that are working out really cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of jumped right to doing one of the licks I really like doing, and if you saw it, I repeated it a lot, and this is the way it sounds. All right, now this is a big stretch, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm going from the 4th fret on the D string, and then hammering on with my middle finger to the 7th fret, and then my pinky hammers on to the 9th fret. Okay, it's a big stretch, and as you can see, I kind of curl my hand around to get it. Okay, and then I play the 4th fret on the G string. Now this is the same note as my pinky, but because it's a different string, I could attack it harder, and it's just a cool sound. So it's nothing more than playing that note twice, but the way it sounds on the other string adds some really cool flavor to it. So, and then I just go back up, and that's the lick. So, and obviously I got some delays on. Alright, that's the lick. It's really cool. It's a big stretch, but it's a lot of fun. So after that, when the chord moves to the G, to the A, I'm going to go to this lick here. Okay, so I'm right here. I'm doing 7th fret on the B string and pulling off, and then going to the 9th fret on the G string. And this is a really cool repetitive lick that you could just keep on going with it. And then we're just going. So this again is the top of the B, or the beginning of the B minor scale. So I'm going D, C sharp B to a pull off. And then we got the 10th fret on the B string, and then back to the root. Okay, so the whole lick. Okay, so you can tell it's really melodic. It's got a lot of cool stuff on it. So that's one of the licks I'm coming up with. You could try it out, see if you could put it together with the backing track. But most of all, this is in B minor, so just jam to it, have fun, and see what happens. The same thing with the other 2 rhythms as well. I haven't gotten to jamming along with those as much, but this beginning rhythm I might make for the solo section or whatever. But just to show you that you can have a lot of fun jamming to these rhythms. So yeah, so jam out to that backing track, see if you could put that lick together, and have fun with it. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go over a little bit of something I'm coming up with for that second rhythm. The second rhythm again was this jam here. Okay, so that's the second rhythm. Now what I'm doing on this one is more of like a main theme melody and a lot of repetitive lick ideas. So let me jam on this for a couple seconds, and I'm going to walk you through what kind of goes through my head when I'm putting together these melodies. Okay, so I don't have any real refined ideas, as you could tell, but one of the things I like about this is more of a repetition. So something along the lines of, so you could hear how it kind of loops, so it's not just, soloing, going up and down the scales and just doing something that's not going to be memorable. When you're coming up with melodies for the verse or the chorus, especially for instrumental music, you want the melodies to be really something that you could catch on to. So you got to be melodic and catchy, and the repetition kind of helps that. So something along like, you can hear how that's kind of like a 4-bar loop there, and it just works as a melody, and you could vary it as you go. Alright, so that's something else I'm doing there on the second rhythm. But the main point, what I usually do when I write, just put these loops into play, loop them up, let them repeat for like 5 minutes, and just keep jamming on them and see what comes up. Because that's when I usually end up finding a melody like this or something that I really grab onto, and then build the song around those melodies and the rhythms. So that's the second rhythm. Jam on it, have fun, and just see what you can come up with. Alright, later. Alright, cool. So I'm going to wrap up out here, but hopefully you had fun and this was cool. Something different. Again, this is, I wanted to, fortunately because of all this technology, cool stuff we could do, I'm able to come out here and shoot videos like this. But it's really important for you to get out there, change your scenery where you practice, be inspired, have fun, and just do things like this to really mix it up, because you end up coming up with some really cool ideas just by changing your scenery, your atmosphere, or whatever. But yeah, check out the jam tracks. Just keep going to them. Submit anything you're jamming to. If you come up with some cool melodies, let me know, send them in, and I'll check them out. And if you have any questions, let me know. But thanks again. This is Mike Deary from Rock Guitar Power. Have fun, and we'll see you soon. Later.